Hello, I'm here to talk about a very important issue in our society, also known as roadmen. A roadman is a typical teenage boy who drops out of school and instead does these things: smokes weed, wears tracksuit bottoms with bomber jackets, and rides around the area on bikes. This species is to be taken seriously as they can inflict much harm to anyone. So, the traits of a roadman are the hair, the coat, the pouch, the shoes, and the trousers, and the contents of the pouch, also the cap. So you may be wondering how to identify a typical roadman at this point. So I will tell you what to look for. Firstly, the hair. A roadman has a shaved back and sides and long on the top, but this haircut is usually cut by the mums and is of low quality. This trim is unique to the roadman as it is a way of identifying them when they aren't doing roadman activities. Next up is the coat. A roadman will always wear a puffer jacket. This is never removed even in extreme heat. They eat, sleep, and swim in this coat as it signifies their roadman status and can intimidate anyone. These coats are usually of the brands called Kingswool Dream, Nike, Adidas, The North Face, 11 Degrees or Six Silk. Next up is the trousers. The roadman tradition is to wear tracksuit bottoms all the time. Whether it is summer or winter, tracksuit bottoms have to be worn. These are very tight on the legs to show off their huge thighs. The tracksuit bottoms are usually the same brand as the coat, so they match. Next up is the cap. The cap is used to cover their trim as it is so bad. The cap is very significant to a roadman as this allows them to be intimidating to others. The cap has to be the North Face, Nike or Adidas, as these show flexing money even though they live on benefits. Next up is the shoes, or the creps as the roadmen call them. This is the biggest part to a roadman after the coat, of course. The average roadman wears their creps for 18 hours a day. These trainers have to be soles bigger than their chances of living. The trainers have to be Nike Karachis or Nike Air Maxes, as these are the only creps allowed by roadmen. Every roadman has to have a pair of these, as it is the sign of a roadman. When a roadman dies, these trainers are put on their grave. Last but not least of the clothing is the pouch. All roadmen have a pouch. I will discuss these pouches and the contents. The pouch is usually Nike but can be Adidas, and the pouches possessed by a roadman has to contain the shank for the stabbing to protect themselves and the weed to smoke at all times, which usually is also a spliff or two. Now onto roadman activity. Most roadmen possess a bike and ride this everywhere, but they have walking roadmen surrounding the bikers. If you see these around, do not approach them at any costs. Roadmen usually live in council houses and have little family as they do not associate with them unless they want more weed or a new shank. Another action of roadman culture is posting Instagram photos on top of roofs or in dark places. These have to be done with no emotion, but a hand signal must be made. Roadmen comment on each other's posts with comments such as brother. They speak in their own language and I will try to translate it. Oi blood, fresh crepes translates to hello friend, I would like your shoes. If they ask for these, you may want to give them your shoes, as you could get shanked. Roadmen hang out in towns, walking around to intimidate, or they perch in McDonald's to scare the public. They can only afford to purchase a medium fries though, so they have to share these. They take extremely dodgy photos of themselves as they have their hand on the trim and stare intimidatingly into the camera. Watch out for this, as any bad comments can result in a shank. But not to mention a roadman's music choice. A roadman's music is very intimidating to the public. They listen to grime music such as BG Media,
Can you all star? You need to get me in the booth.
and Stormzy,
You're getting way too big for your boots. You're never too big for the boot.
as this can be played loudly to scare others. You cannot associate with this music, as soon as this is played, a roadman will appear with his trusty shank. The music has to be blasted out of a speaker and usually contains rude or explicit language. Now, on to whether the roadman lifestyle should be illegal or legal. I think that it should be legal because they didn't choose the roadman lifestyle. The roadman lifestyle chose them. Also, the roadman species is not only a species, it is a religion, and if you're trying to insult the roadman religion, it will be ended with a very sharp answer. Oi blood, give me crepes a try, 'cause they look fresh bruv innit. Just kidding, this whole video is a joke. I do think roadmen should not be allowed to exist because they are bad people most of the time, and it's just that little Tia kind of told me to say that they're good. big up little T.
Picking up Jack Wilkinson on the cam, you know this thing. Hey, hey, yo, look, light,